applicable. Why can I not say that? Hello, and welcome back to my 31 days of being thankful in the midst of chaos. Today, we're going to be talking about wisdom. And before we get started, I've already got today's question for you. Write down in the comments what you believe the difference between wisdom and knowledge are. If you don't know what they are, that's totally fine. I personally didn't fully understand what the difference was of both of them until just this year, and I am 34. So don't feel bad at whatever age you are. Write that down in the comments, and then we will get started in Daniel. Today is Daniel 2, verse 23. I'm actually going to be reading verses 20 to 23, I believe. Yeah, starting at 20 to 23. Go ahead and read Daniel 2, 1 through 23 so that you kind of understand where we're coming from and why this is so applicable. You know what I'm saying, for today's reading, and we will go ahead and discuss that. I'm going to start off by reading Daniel 2, 20 through 23. Praise the name of God forever and ever. He has all wisdom and power. He controls the course of world events. He removes kings and sets up other kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the scholars. He reveals deep and mysterious things and knows all lies hidden in darkness, though he is surrounded by light. I thank and praise you, God of my ancestors, for you have given me wisdom and strength. You have told me what we ask of you and revealed to us what the king demanded. If you actually read verses 1 through 23, you will know that right now Daniel is a wise man. God has blessed him in this area to show his own power. And under the rule of King Nebuchadnezzar right now, he has had a horrific dream. It has scared him so much, but he is not telling any of the wise men, magicians, whatever they are, what this dream is, because he's saying that if you really know it, you will also know what the dream is about. You will have the meaning, understanding, interpretation, all of it. So he's not telling a soul, but all of these wise men, whatever, are coming to him being like, just tell us what it is. And he's like, no, I'm not. So if you can't tell me, I'm just going to kill you all. I'm just going to kill you all. And Daniel is one of those wise men. So him and his 3 friends go before God. They're fasting all night, praying for the understanding, the wisdom, the knowledge, interpretation of this dream, and God reveals it to them. And verses 20 through 23 is them just giving thanks back to God for giving them the wisdom of this. Now, if you don't know what wisdom is, it is a gift of the Holy Spirit. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. So here's a funny way to think about it. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom for me is knowing that I will not be putting it in with my peanut butter banana smoothie for breakfast to give my kids. I'm just not going to do it because that wouldn't be wise. So once again, wisdom is the application of knowledge. If you know something about someone, then God's going to give you the wisdom of what you should do with the information that has been given to you. And that is what God did for them. He showed Daniel what this vision, this dream was that he had, that the king had, or gave him the wisdom of what he showed him. Okay? And now Daniel is going back and thanking God for that. You can also find information about wisdom being a gift of the Spirit in 1 Corinthians 12:8. This is a manifestation gift, which just means the Holy Spirit is using you as a vessel to do what the Lord's purpose is. That on its own is another whole 5 studies or whatever, so we're not going to be getting into that today. Once Daniel was able to tell the king what his dream was and give him wisdom with what he had, then that actually led King Nebuchadnezzar to believing and worshiping the one true God instead of all these other gods that they were worshiping at the time. You can read all about this in Daniel 2:46 through 49, where he is confessing that your God is the one true God and we will worship him. This then put Daniel and his friends into safety because they were raised up into higher authority positions within the Babylonian kingdom. The whole point of this was that Daniel and his friends looked after wisdom. They searched for it. They prayed fervently to God for it, and he showed up and told them what it was. But they went to him and asked for it because they knew that God was the only one who would be able to tell them what this dream was about. Bible, I have verses 20 and 21 is about God being omnipotent. And if you don't know what that is, that means that God has all the power. Finger of God that the Egyptian magicians were talking about in Exodus. And then for 22 through 23, I have down that God is omniscient in this. And omniscience means all-knowing. So God would have been able to give them the knowledge and the wisdom, the application of the knowledge, what they were supposed to do with this dream. But they fervently prayed, they fasted, and they asked God for it. They continued in their prayers. Are you doing that? That is where this all boils down to. When you get into a situation, even though it might not be as direct as getting into so much trouble that you might die and you're asking for wisdom, but in your day-to-day life, when you are coming up against things that you're just like, I don't know what to do, whether it is something that your boss is asking you to do at work and you're just like, I don't know if I should be doing this. Are you asking God for the wisdom in this? You don't understand what something is when you're reading the Bible. I do this all the time, so don't think that I am any better than you just because I am coming to you with this study for today, because this has hit me hard a lot recently. I love knowledge. I love knowledge. All these commentaries right here, and I actually just put another one in my Amazon cart just yesterday, I think, because I am going through my Bible right now, starting in Genesis. I am halfway through Exodus, and I am just reading the Bible. So that's actually the beginning. Every page that I read, I highlight. I just think it would be fun to have a Bible completely highlighted, even though I don't have stuff in the margins or anything. It's kind of fun seeing somebody's Bible all marked up, but then knowing that they actually read every single word on every single page. If I were to pick up somebody else's Bible, that would be fun to know, hey, they actually read this whole thing. But that's beside the point. I love knowledge, but I'm going and getting the wisdom, the application of what I'm actually reading from other people, instead of just sitting there being like, God, what does this mean? Let me give you one of the biblical examples of wisdom and knowledge. In I believe it's Solomon with the 2 wives. This is in 1 Kings 3:16 through 28. And it's about the 2 moms, how one of the babies died and the other mom had one the exact same age. The one who's died put hers to the mother of the living child, and she just switched them. They go before Saul, and he's like, knowledge is, okay, you guys can share the baby, so we'll cut him in half. Knowledge, right? Okay. Wisdom was knowing that the real mom would give up her baby because she wouldn't want to harm it. Whereas the other mom, whose the baby really wasn't, was like, okay, let's do it. I don't know how you wouldn't fall for that trick. But I've probably fallen for dumb things too, so I can't judge. That was another biblical example, instead of just the tomato as the fruit thing, of wisdom versus knowledge. So if you did not understand it, that's totally fine. Remember, I'm 34. I didn't know what it was until this year either. Like, I knew what it was, but I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? I hope this was encouraging for you. Share it with somebody else who may not really understand what wisdom versus knowledge is, vice versa. I will see you tomorrow. Go out and be a light to somebody else today. Bye.